After a successful Brahmos deal with the Philippines, Indonesia, another island nation in the South China Sea, has been interested for Brahmos procurement from quite a long time. Recently, during the visit into India, Philippines Chief of Armed Staff said that Brahmos is acquired by the Indonesia. This was a very explosive and a very big statement from any big official. So some independent researchers, some journalists interpreted it as that Indonesia has already procured Brahmos into the secret. But this is not the case. I have verified from my sources that this is not the case. The statement has been misinterpreted. And according to the Reuters, which is a famous international brand, it is a famous international newspaper. They are saying Indonesia says it has entered agreement with India to procure Brahmos missile. You can see the choice of words. They are referring it as agreement because they are going to play the safe side. That India is signing an agreement to procure Brahmos missile. And in reality, no agreement, no memorandum of understanding has formally signed between the two nations. And yes, BrahMos is a capable missile, but we should stay with the actual and factual news all the time. Philippines Chief of Armed Staff also praised BrahMos due to its effectiveness and due to its mobility around the South China Sea. And multiple South China Sea nations want BrahMos. And according to source, even Taiwan was once considering for the BrahMos, but due to its Russian origin for the ramjet technology and Russian Russian India partnership for the BrahMos, so it is not considering for a while. They are considering for Akash missiles. You can also see a video of Taiwan media praising Akash surface to air missiles. Nevertheless, let's return to the topic. We have a free marketing campaigner for BrahMos for all the time. That is Pakistan. Pakistan has campaigned for the BrahMos for a long time. We can actually see that in the Operation Sindhu performance. I'm going to hold a very strategic nerve of Pakistan, that is the Sargodha Air Base. And here you can actually see this patch. You can actually see that in this road some kind of patch is appearing. Okay, let me delete this photo. Okay, you can actually see that in the tarmac it is something repaired. And if we go for historical imagery of this image, this historical imagery, current image is taken from June 29 2025. Earlier it was a smooth runway, so the Indian Air Force Sukhoi 30 MKI targeted this area to make their runways inoperable for some days. This is the Sargodha Air Base is a The Sargodha Air Base has two runways. You can see this runway, you can see this runway. So they put a strike here and one strike here. You can actually see that they have just casually repaired the runway. It is not blending with the runway. Even the materials used are looking unfinished. And what you can expect from Pakistan. And actually returning to the specific BrahMos A point, you can actually see the accuracy of the system, the accuracy which it has produced. This is commendable. This is a commendable job done by the system. It is actually its accuracy is less than 1 meter. And if talking specifically about the South China Sea nations, they are feared of the Chinese Navy ships because the Chinese Navy ships are constantly humiliating them in their oceans and in their backyard. And some nations are considering Brahmos anti-ship variants as the coastal launchers against the Chinese ship. Yes, the range is less. The range is only 290 kilometer. Some suggest that the range is 450 kilometer. No, in the export variant still, due to the MTCR regulation, the range is 290 kilometer. But still, the missile is proved worthy. It can be proved worthy against the CJ series of China, and it can be proved costly for the Chinese new type of frigates and Chinese Type 055 destroyers, because the Type 055 destroyer vertical launching system does not have any anything, any kind of anti surface to air missile to target that. And coastal batteries, I earlier told about that. And let's talk about Brahmos more. And before that, we can actually see a test firing video of Brahmos.
Two, one, now. That's one. Sir, please don't comment. Just 10 seconds.
You can actually see how impressive the system was. It flied vertically and it aligned itself horizontally into the air, and this is a supersonic cruise missile. Do you even know what is a supersonic cruise missile? It goes terrain hugging or sea skimming for the enemy air defense, for the enemy air radar. This condition is a nightmare. This condition proved to be nightmare. And earlier India used P800 Onyx, from which the Brahmos was derived. It's Seeker technology. Seeker is basically the front part of of a missile which decides the path of a missile. It is actually used for mathematical computation, which is used for identifying and picking up target. For Brahmos, earlier X band seekers were used of the P800 Onyx series, and with with the complex ramjet engine, and now all the parts of Brahmos with the ramjet engine also is produced in DRDO labs and in the Brahmos aerospace. Sorry for that. Imagine imagine a missile, a cruise missile, flying at 3 Mach, flying at 3 Mach and hitting a ship or hitting a remote or mobile target with a sheer kinetic force, with sheer kinetic energy. This is not an imagination, this is the power of physics. The kinetic energy is the power of physics. So Brahmos proves that thing, and this type of kinetic energy matters a lot during wars, because this one Brahmos missile can decapitate a fully 10,000 ton armed destroyer. If you are talking specifically about Chinese series or Japanese series or Arleigh Burke class series, and none of the destroyers air defense has a specific measure around the Brahmos, because it is supersonic, it is sea skimming. Identifying it early is very much difficult. You have to actually establish a kill chain, and before that your radars have picked the Brahmos signatures, the Brahmos had already striked your weapon. And Brahmos is not stealthy. It is not stealthy like Tomahawk. Brahmos also has its limitation, like it is not stealthy. And some experts say that it can also be jammed in dense and networked environments, and that is a very crucial point. Though it uses a mix of systems like GPS, GLONASS. Even if a system is jammed, then it can use other system also. In its terminal phase, means last phase, it performs an S maneuver. It goes like this. It performs an S maneuver around the ship, so the enemy close in weapon systems are not able to pick it up. And actually I can show the S maneuvering of Brahmos. You enter the S maneuver and the first video appears like this, and we can actually see the video potential tech. This is a very good video. I have also referred this for the research of the article.
Indo-Pakistan, the Task Force 74 missiles, and its accompanying aircraft carrier or task force. The Brahmos is the world's fastest cruise missile. Basically an anti-ship missile, it has been adapted to be used as a land-based and even an air-launched missile. The missile is unstoppable as it travels at supersonic speeds for its complete duration and can execute an evasive maneuver called the S maneuver to avoid close-in weapon systems and other defense mechanisms. But what is the S maneuver and what makes the Brahmos missile unstoppable?
You have actually seen the animation of S maneuver, like how it is performing S type thing, and it is a technique to evade enemy close-in weapon system, because once the air defense structure fails, then close-in weapon system plays a crucial role for this thing. Brahmos follows two stages two stages of fuel. One is solid propellant booster and second is liquid ramjet engine. If talking specifically about the guidance of Brahmos, in the mid course it follows INS system, which is inertial navigation system, and multi GNSS, which includes GPS, GLONASS, which is a Russian system of satellites, and India's Gagan, which is also an Indian system for the military target identification. Once the once the missile reaches its target, the active radar homing takes place and searches for the target identification. And it has a complex module inside the seeker, which is GSOM module, which contains the chips for GPS, GLONASS, and Gagan. And talking about the next generation of Brahmos missile, we have Brahmos NG, we have Brahmos extended range. Brahmos NG has also gone for user evaluation trials, and the result is successful and result is very good. If I am talking about the seeker, about the future seeker of the Brahmos, then X band phased array monopole seeker. Article says this, but according to me, the next generation seeker would be an AESA seeker, which is active electronically searched array seeker, and actually it will be having it will be based on GAN based modules, which is gallium nitride, and it is actually very good for the active radar homing. Now we have talked much about the Brahmos missile and its capabilities. We can actually see the capability here. Now we should discuss about whether India should give this missile whether India should give this missile to that island nation Indonesia or not. If talking specifically about Indonesia, I have certain doubts about that nation. That is the world's largest Muslim nation. Though they are good, but I don't believe them. If a certain kind of prime minister or leadership appears which is pro Pakistani and consider buying JF-17, because the reports were emerging that Indonesia is also interested in buying the junk fighter, which is JF-17 Blunder. So I have concerns regarding the technology, the technology uh, theft, theft of the technology, and many things we can say about that. But let's see what happens. If this deal happens, then this would be considered as the second export success of Brahmos missile. But let's see. And I'm ending the video here. May the God grace over you.